Can you hear me now? I'm trolling. Can you guys hear me now? Shoot. Oh, why is the chat so messed up too? Whoop. Alright, let me fix that. What happened? Why is it so weird? Alright. Whoops, my bad. Hopefully this doesn't get worse. Oh shoot. Sorry, terrible start. Alright. Looks like just Jason and David are here. I'm not sure who the third person is, but I'm gonna start because there's gonna be a VOD. Alright, first of all, housekeeping stuff. We're gonna 5 people now. Am I trolling? Okay, whatever. But housekeeping stuff. For those of you who are new to Twitch, never been on Twitch before, after today's stream there's something called a VOD, which is basically a recording of this stream. Which means that if you guys are busy, or if other people you know are busy, or if you have to leave early, or if you come in late, you can just come back to the channel for up to 14 days and you can watch the stream all over again. After that, we plan on uploading the VOD to YouTube, which you can find in our link tree, or you can scroll down right now and click on the link. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss the VOD, but yeah, there's that. Also, I'm not sure if this is something you guys wanted, but we're not planning on having in-person meetings after that first one, just because anything that we would put in an in-person meeting, we will also say on Instagram. So, make sure to follow us on Instagram and here on Twitch. Once we hit our 50 followers, we're going to be giving away our exclusive OG hoodie, which looks like this. Let's see, can I share what this link looks like? Man, this is scuffed. My mouse is scuffed. What happened? Does this work? Hopefully, I think it works. Looks like it works. This is for the people who are watching the VOD, maybe. Let's fix this. Alright, this is what the shirts look like. These were designed by our graphic designer, Justin Huynh. Specifically this part, which is supposed to represent our club. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitch to see this and to be entered into winning it. Let's just fix that. Sure. Man, string is tough. But yeah, make sure you guys follow us on Twitch. We will be giving out one of those OG hoodies, and it is not for sale, which means that this is actually something exclusive. At the end of the year, we'll be pulling the OG shirt off the shelves, but this is something that is not available for purchase, and nobody who's on the board right now can even win the giveaway. So this is actually something very, very time sensitive. Hopefully we can reach that milestone before the next stream, but with that said, I'm going to roll straight into it because we have a VOD. So, just an overview of what we're doing today. First, I'm going to introduce the club and myself, just so that anybody who didn't make it to the in-person meeting can know. Second, I'm going to talk about APs and general information about them, as well as my advice, and then we dive into the world of standardized testing, which is SAT, ACT, and PSAT. And then for the freshmen, we're going to hit Dillon Concurrent Enrollment at Golden West College and what value that holds. And then we wrap up with a summary, some analysis. Yeah, that's the general plan. At any point in time, feel free to ask any questions whatsoever. Doesn't matter what they're about, actually, as long as there's like some activity, just because I feel like this stuff is kind of dense and boring. So the more fun you guys can sort of stick in the chat, the better the stream is going to be. So, intro to Project Illuminate. Project Illuminate is a club that I started this year, and the official mission statement is to prepare students for college and career through education and opportunities. I made this very broad so that I get as much wiggle room as possible when it comes to Twitch topics or just whatever we do to the club. Because of how broad our mission statement is, it means that we can basically do anything, but officially it sounds very, very good. But just for those who want to know, education means that things that me and my board or other juniors and upperclassmen wish that we knew when we were underclassmen. So like, oh, I wish I knew I could take health at Golden West College, and it would take half the time, half the effort, and I get college credit for it too, and it's free. Or I wish I could take this class and this teacher, like, oh, avoid AP Spanish 4 because it's really hard. Or like avoid APWH because you gotta self-study everything. Like that type of stuff. And all of that education will be happening here on Twitch. In the future, topics will probably change after we get past the preliminary stuff. This stream is introductory, is APs and stuff. But in the future, whatever you can just talk about whatever the heck you guys want. I'm not sure if anybody's actually like, if you guys have any topics in mind already. Do you guys have any things you want us to talk about in the future? Right now it's just like general stuff because we don't exactly know what it is you guys want. You guys have any ideas of what you guys want? If not, it's fine. Let's see. Seems like nobody really has any preferences yet, but I'm just going to move on, keep on going. So for the opportunities part of our mission statement, we basically mean things that will buff up your college app or your job resume if you're going for that after, like straight out of high school. So stuff like research projects, internships in general, like the internship I'm doing right now, which is virtual, free, and very easy to get into. Academic competitions like the academic decathlon, which you guys should definitely join, and internships and positions on board. Depending on how well this stream goes, although it doesn't seem to be going great so far, but depending on how well this goes, we'll be opening up more positions on our board if enough people seem interested in our club. Otherwise, there's not really much point in opening up positions if nobody really cares about the club. So yeah, that's the club. Just a little intro on myself so y'all know that I'm not just some rando on the internet. So I'm a pretty big nerd. I got 5s on AP Chem, AP World, self-studied pre-calc honors in 3 months last year, and now I'm in Calc BC. I'm also the president of Chess Club. If you guys are into that, you guys should definitely join. I'm the founder and president of this club. I'm a writer at STEM from Scratch, and I'm the director of marketing at a worldwide chess club. In my free time, I like playing tennis, watch way too much YouTube, spend too much time on social media. Basically, I'm just a huge nerd. But yeah, that's me, right? So any questions so far? I don't think this is particularly confusing. We haven't gone into the deep stuff yet. Alright, seems like there's no questions. So remember that you guys can talk about whatever the heck you guys want. I know that doesn't seem like many people are here, or not many people seem interested in chatting, but that's completely fine. If you guys want to talk, you guys can talk about whatever you want. It can be like Senor Beatty's biceps, it can be how hard A pushes, it can be anything. I don't really care. It's just that it's kind of empty right now. So, getting started with APs. I'm going to assume that the main demographic of this topic is freshmen, just because generally if you're a junior, you kind of know APs by this point. But if not, it's completely fine. Oh, passed AP Psych and unit test. Wait, you passed. What does pass mean, Jason? Passed AP Psych. Is passed an A or is passed a C? What does that mean? $89% solid. Alright, yeah. I gotta make sure I don't get distracted. My bad. But yeah, you guys can talk about whatever the heck you want. I'm just gonna keep rolling just in case people are here for the VOD. But yeah, so the thing about APs for freshmen is that I'd say, this is probably a huge assumption, but I'd say 100% of freshmen go into an AP class without actually knowing what it is. They're just smart, right? They're smart. They're deemed smart by society, and they've been in the advanced classes all their life, and they got A's in every single class, and now it's high school, so they just continue doing what they're doing. So then they just take the hard classes, and then they procrastinate, and then they scrape out with a 90.2%, right? So like everybody just ends up going to APs just because, oh, it's the harder class. I don't want to be with those normies, so I'm going to take a push and then screw myself. But yeah, so my first goal of today is to tell you about APs. Today we're covering what they are, why they exist, how they're scored, general structure of them, pricing, and then general tips from me. And then we wrap up with questions if you guys have any. And then we're going to move on to standardized testing after that. I'm not going to give you concrete advice as to whether or not you should take them, because I'd say that you should decide that based on the information I give you. So first of all, what is an AP class, right? So AP class is basically a college course, and their purpose is to prepare you for an exam that you will take in May that occurs over a 2-week period. So I think it's May 2nd to May, I might be wrong on this, but May 2nd to May 17th sounds familiar. May 16th, something like that. And ultimately, the purpose of this exam is that if you do well enough, you may receive college credit and you don't have to take that same class in college. which is actually kind of big because like at Golden West, like a class is like $600, $200, something like that. And then if you go to like an Ivy League or a UC, classes are like thousands of dollars. So like an AP exam's kind of big. But whether or not you get credit is actually highly dependent on which college you go to. So if you got an idea of where you want to go, I recommend you check out your college's website, even if you're not sure if you're going to get in. It's like if you want to get into Harvard, just check out their website. You should just look. Just generally speaking, community colleges will take a 3 or higher, which is passing, which we'll get into later. But Ivy Leagues would not even take your money. They're going to take all your 50 grand a year, even if you've already taken your AP exams. But yeah, that's what they are. Now going into scoring. AP exams are scored differently from basically anything anybody has seen before. A lot of people don't actually understand how it works, so I'm just going to go a little bit in detail into this. So College Board grades on a scale from 5 to 1, right? And 5, you'd assume, is 90% or higher, but that's not the case. The goal of the numbers is to correspond with the grade you would get if you were taking that college course. So here's an example, right? So I'm taking AP Lang, and that's first semester English at the majority of colleges. And the scoring of the AP exam goes like this. If I get a 5 on the AP exam, that means if I took first semester college English, College Board says that I have the skills, based on how well I did on the exam, to get an A in that class. If I got a 4 in the exam, it means that I have the skills to get a B. If I get a 3, that's a C, a 2, a D, a 1, an F. And the exact way that the College Board determines this is not actually, I don't think it's publicly available. But it's based on a lot of statistics and math, so I'm going to assume that it's kind of solid. And usually in my experience, the score that you get in the exam correlates with the grade you deserve, unless, you know, it's like, oh, I studied for AP World in a week with Heimler and I got a 4. I wouldn't say you deserve a B in AP in a world history class, but that's just me. Like, usually it matches up, but sometimes it's not so great. So that's scoring. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Are there any questions on that? That was a little bit iffy when I looked over my structuring for today. That's kind of small. I don't want to make this bigger. Does that work? It's probably better. Alright, seems like there's no questions. So, moving on to exam structure. This one's probably the simplest of all of them, but I'm going to go over it anyway, just because some people don't know. So on every AP exam, there is an MCQ and an FRQ. MCQ stands for multiple choice questions, and that means that you're given a question, and then you have multiple choice responses, and that's what basically everybody's used to. And usually you have 1 to 2 minutes, depending on the exam, it may be different, but you have 1 to 2 minutes per question. And with paper exams this year, well, like fingers crossed, obviously, we don't know. But paper exams this year, we'll be able to go forward and backwards. So we can skip questions and come back. And that's kind of huge because last year we couldn't do that. And that was like terrifyingly bad. Like everybody was just like, all of the old tactics for MCQs were just gone out the window just because you couldn't go back and forth, which is like one of the biggest things for MCQ. And then there's FRQ, which stands for free response questions, which means there's no multiple choices. So in the sciences, usually this ends up being like, oh, do this calculation, or like justify why this is true or not true. And then you use like some theorems or logic chains, or you just justify it. And then in the arts and humanities, you end up like, you have like a question or a prompt, and you have to write either a short paragraph or you write a full out essay. And usually the essay is the hardest part. People are used to MCQs, but FRQs are usually the thing that sort of knocks all your previous experience out of the window. But yeah, that's the general structure. It's pretty easy. Depending on this AP exam you take, it's going to be different. So let's say Jason was talking about AP Psych, so let's use that as an example. Hold up, let's make this work. Alright, hopefully you guys can see this. Make sure you guys tell me if you can't see it. Oh wow, it's kind of stretched. That's kind of sad. I should probably fix this. Ah man, this is kind of ugly. Alright, we're just going to make it work. Let's say you're taking AP Psych. Let's say you're Jason. You're in the mind of Jason taking AP Psych exam. Right? Structure. So then you just search it up and you will find everything you need to know about your exam. So you have, oh, Jesus Christ, you have 100 questions. You have 100 MCQ in an hour and 10 minutes. So that's 70 minutes for 100 questions, which is actually kind of terrifying because that is not a lot of time. You have less than a minute per question for this. And this is a 2/3 of your exam score. AP Psych tends to be one of the easiest exams. And that's probably because of how heavily weighted MCQs are. Usually the more FRQ there is, the harder it is to do well in the exam. I probably should zoom in. And then FRQ, you have 2 questions. You have 50 minutes for those 2 questions. And it's basically, from what I remember, you just have some scenario or some question, and you have to explain what psychological theories or concepts are shown. Like, oh, this is an example of confirmation bias because this. Oh, this is selection bias that leads to this. Yeah, so it's basically just like you just take all the information, regurgitate it on the exam day, and you're done. But yeah, so that's AP Psych. And you can do that for any exam. Like, if there are more freshmen here, I would probably be doing AP HUG, but it doesn't seem like there's freshmen, at least they're not talking in the chat. I wonder where Trevor is. Trevor's probably picking tennis. But yeah. So now that's structure. We're going to move on to pricing now, which is the most controversial part. Oh, what's up, Beck? Okay, this is our overlay, except it's kind of scuffed. The only thing that's good is that this camera is here, but what's up, Bex? So yeah, pricing. So the most controversial part about AP exams is always the pricing, and it just goes up and up and up and up and up every year. What about OSU? Shoot, I can get distracted. Should I pay attention to chat? You guys want to just talk, or you guys want to... Shoot, I forgot this is going to be a VOD. I should probably pay attention. Alright, so this year exams are $100, $101 each at Marina. The reduced fee application window, I'm pretty sure already passed either yesterday or the day before. And the regular fee deadline is coming this Wednesday, which means you guys have to pay up very soon. You're allowed to, I think you can put a $40 deposit. Yeah, so you're allowed to have a $40 deposit, but you have to have that in by Wednesday, or else you have a $30 late fee. And that's not something you want. Alright, so that's AP exams. That went way faster than I was expecting, but yeah. So now I'm going to give my opinion, some general advice, just what I think about AP exams. I say that while the price tag is actually kind of a lot, the college is just so much more expensive. You guys, like, it feels expensive to pay $600 for 6 AP exams, but that's cheap. Like, it's really cheap compared to, like, let's say Golden West. Golden West is considered pretty cheap, but like one course at Golden West is usually it's like a couple $100, and then if you go to like a UC, you're in the thousands. Especially if you're in Ivy League. I think each class is something like $5K a class. That's a lot, unless I'm counting wrong. But it's thousands of dollars at Ivy Leagues, and they don't even accept your AP exams. So yeah, AP exams are pretty pricey. So I'm going to go into the details into like what you guys should consider when you consider, oh, should I take an AP exam or not? Because while a lot of people are just taking it because like money's not a huge issue, for the people who are money is an issue and you're not even sure if you're going to college, it's sometimes a little bit tough figuring out what you want to do. So I made a table here. Hopefully this registers properly. Let's see if this works or not. But that should send an image of a table I made for what you should consider when considering whether you want to take an AP exam. So as you guys can actually, I should probably share this for the people who are watching the VOD. Give me a second. Sorry about this. It's a lot more scuffed than I realized. But yeah, this is also scuffed. But okay. This is a table I made, and these are the things you should probably consider. I'm not going to read this to you because that would be kind of useless because you guys can also read. But this is the table I made, and I'm just going to talk over this as if you guys have already read this. So, as you guys consider this, there are 2 other factors I did not list on there, which I want you guys to consider because I made this a couple days ago. So, one of the biggest things is whether money is something that you have a lot of access to or not much access to. If you have a lot of access to money, if you're like Alvin spending $280 on 2 bottles of cologne, you can just buy whatever you want. right? $101 AP exam, that's cheaper than my cologne. But if money does matter to you, then things get a little bit more interesting, because if money is an issue and you want to get into a good college, then you're kind of in a situation where you kind of have to take APs to even be like, unless you're like really, really advanced in some other topic. But usually you're going to have to take APs just to get into a competitive college, even if it's just as like simple as like a CSU or like a UC. You're probably going to need to take APs, and if money's an issue, then things get a little iffy. But the good thing is that teachers at Marina are kind of nice. If you have issues with money, with AP exams, you should talk to your teacher that's like you have an AP exam for. Because Marina, as far as I can tell, seems pretty good about making sure that money is not a barrier to taking AP exams. If you cannot afford it, I'm pretty sure a lot of teachers here are nice enough to take care of it for you. But yeah, I'm gonna hope that you guys have already read this thing. I'm going to switch back to this. Man, this is scuffed. I need to figure out how to make this better. But yeah, so you're taking AP HUG, but if I major in comp sci, I take AP test. Okay, so Bex is taking AP HUG, but if you're planning to major in computer science, if I take the AP test, do I get credit for my major which didn't relate to? Okay, so that's a good question. Basically, Bex is asking that he's taking AP HUG, but the problem is that he's not planning to major in AP, like anything related to history. And the answer to that question is that, first of all, if you look at the table, you should notice that AP exams are not just about the college credit. It's also about getting into a solid college, because taking an AP exam taking an AP class and the exam, taking the class shows that you're able to handle the workload of a college level class. And then the exam just shows that you're capable of doing well, and it's not just like your teacher was very, very easy. And the thing about AP HUG is that it counts as something called a breadth requirement, which basically means that when unless you're going to a very specific school, like let's say like a computer science school, most colleges will require that you do not just take classes in comp sci. Like you have to take one humanity or like two or humanities, which is basically like history, English, art. You have to take classes outside of your major in order to graduate, which means that AP HUG I wouldn't say AP HUG is the best for this, but it's also something to consider, that you might have to take you will need to take classes that are not directly related to your major in order to graduate from college. Oh, AP HUG and AP World. That's a real kicker. Okay, if you're taking AP World, you don't necessarily need to take AP HUG. I wouldn't recommend that you take 2 AP histories. I don't think it's it's tough. That sounds very tough. I would not recommend that you that's not something I would say you should take. But if you're taking it now, that's okay. I think I'm going to need to think about this for a second. I think taking those 2 histories are completely separate, because so AP HUG will cover something that, like, a little bit of the content that you will cover at the end of AP World. But I think AP HUG is just so specific of a topic that it may not be useful to take unless you're just doing it for the more rigorous looking schedule that makes colleges think, oh, this person is capable of taking 2 history classes. Yeah, AP Psych and APWH are disgusting amount of reading. But yeah, thank you for asking the questions. Those were actually probably useful for a lot of people. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next part. Again, I'm not going to give you any concrete advice, because even though I kind of give some advice right there, but I think that ultimately it's up to you to decide, and my job here is to give you the information, not to make the decision for you. Oh, thank you for following us, Specs. And yeah, if you still are having trouble, you could talk to me, but I would actually recommend that you talk to your guidance counselor and you set up a meeting with them, because the guidance counselors here are actually very, very solid. They're actually very good at clearing stuff up. If you guys don't know where to find them, I guess I can show you guys how to do that. You can also just walk into the administration office at like any point in time, actually probably like after school or like before school starts or during lunch, and they should probably be there for you. If you need their emails, I guess I'm gonna show that to you guys right now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna show you where to find it. Yeah. Okay. So Marina Likens. All right, my mouse is broken. Okay. You can find. I should probably know this. Probably guidance. All right. These are the emails of your counselors. Only available after 2. That sounds. That might be something new this year. I think you can meet them in the morning, but that might be different. Okay, yeah, but these are the emails. So if you, Bisa Bull, she's in charge of all the new wins. I feel bad for her, but she's very, very good at her job. So if you have her, then you consider yourself very lucky. She's very good at her job. So Bex is asking about AP HUG or AP World Stream. What do you want that? Are you asking for like a cram session, or what are you interested in by AP HUG or AP World Stream? Do you want it before the exam or like finals or before each test? Because the problem is that I personally am not taking AP HUG or AP World, so I don't know when the tests are. But before the exam, certainly, I can do that. Last year, I got a 5 on AP World. It took me 2 months to cram. Other people crammed it in a week. So the AP exam, right? Just to be sure, not the final exams or just normal tests. Yeah. Okay. So yes, I can do that. Yeah, Heinler is your best friend. Listen to them. If you can literally, if you did not pay attention the whole year, like this, I'd say 90% of the class last year did not pay attention at all. They studied within a week before. And the majority of them got 4s simply by watching Heinler's history. This is the name of the channel. You can just search that up on YouTube. Yeah, most people didn't even study that hard. They just watch the videos and they can like passively absorb it. And the test is super easy. But I will, if enough people are into that, then all right, thank you, David. If enough people are into that, I can do what I remember from AP World and probably what's important since I remember it. But if it's just Bex, then I can either set up an individual call to help you, or it seems like you look like you're covered to some degree. A-push, yeah, you don't want to do A-push. A-push is it's a big no-no. You don't want to do that one. But yeah, thank you for all the questions. A-push is big no-no. Don't do that one. Everybody's dying right now. All my friends are dying. It's so sad. Okay, so last advice for APs, if nobody else has any big questions. AP exams are standardized tests with a very, like I showed you before, the structure is laid out very specifically, and the course curriculum, there's like a 200-page document for every exam that says, oh, this is what students need to know in order to do stuff on the exam. Bex is asking, did our school offer us an AP Computer Science? So before, there was a teacher, very, very, very good teacher, named AP Computer Science Application. No, the name of the teacher was Mr. Bogar. The class was AP Computer Science Applications. So there are 2 AP Computer Sciences. There's AP Computer Science Principles, and there's AP Computer Science A. A stands for Application. So last year, I can't speak. Mr. Bogar was the teacher of AP Calc BC and also AP Comp Sci A. Last year, he retired because of COVID and some other pressures that I've heard about, but I'm not going to say anything about it. But yeah, he retired. And while I heard that there was going to be a teacher for AP Comp Sci A, currently we do not have one. AP Comp Sci A, just so people know the difference, AP Comp Sci A is the one where you learn actual coding. The entire course is learning about Java, if you guys know what that is. That's the name of the language. I'm pretty sure you guys end up using BlueJ as your IDE, if you guys know what an IDE is. And yeah, you learn basic coding, like it's the equivalent of a first. Oh wow, you're good in Java. Yeah, Java is not my thing. I know Python, but Python's the most beginner-friendly language there even is, which means that I can't consider myself a coder. But yeah, currently there's no AP Comp Sci A teacher, but AP Computer Science Principles, just so that people know, it covers more of the science of computers. So right now, I think my friends are learning about binary, which is like everybody knows about the zeros and ones that make up computers, and like, oh, the whole internet is just a bunch of zeros and ones. Everybody's heard that, but you actually get into it. You learn about data. You learn about data cleaning, about file storages, file systems. You learn about networking. Yeah, so you learn about how the internet works, TCP, probably UDP, IP. Learn about that type of stuff. Binary was last unit. Okay, thank you for letting me know. And yeah, that's the difference. And I think this is useful for you to know what I'm about to say, which is that, okay, this is not directly, but I'm going to talk about something that's useful. So, sorry, I'm not very good at planning. So, just going back to what I said before, the AP exams are standardized tests, which means that the curriculum and the structure are predetermined, which means that if something's predetermined, there's a way to game the system, because instead of having to just know everything, you just have to know what you need to know. So like, let's say I did this with AP World. You don't need to know everything that's happening in every city at every point in time, at every single point in history and human history, animal history. You don't need to know that. You only need to know what you need to know, which is just general trends and major events in world history. You don't even need to know dates. I'd say the only date you would need to know in all of world history is 1453. Constantinople was taken over by, actually no, 1492, sorry, that's probably a better date. 1492, Columbus sails the ocean blue. Basically, he destroys the whole world after that. But yeah, AP World, you only need to know general trends, and that's all you need to know. You don't need to read 10 textbooks to get a 5. You just have to watch Hunter's history. You chant Champerice as you go to bed. And the day before, you chant Champerice during the exam. You're probably going to get a 5 if you actually study and you think about it. So yeah, usually yes, Champerice. Yeah, but it's important that you know that you can game the system, because then you can search up what is on the exam and what you need to know. And usually there will be teachers, like for history, APWH, AP World. Now that he's adding AP Gov, Heimler is the person to go to for AP history, basically. And then let's say for bio, there's like Bozeman biology, and then also for APWH, there's like JCAUSE Productions. There's just a lot of teachers are starting to, like, there's a lot of people who are catching on to the fact that the system can be gamed just because of how easy it is, or how standardized the tests are. Yes, okay, I'm going to get into that. So the thing that's hardest about AP World is the DBQ and LEQ. And I personally do not have experience with the LEQ just because last year was online and there was no LEQ. But DBQ stands for document-based question. And basically there's a prompt, and there are 7 historical documents that you need to read. And then you answer that prompt with an essay using those sources. And it sounds difficult, but what you need to realize is that this is standardized, which means that there is no qualitative, oh, this essay deserves a 96 because it made me feel happy. You can't do that for a standardized test. There is a very specific rubric, and once you read the rubric, the DBQ is very easy. There is a point you get, for the DBQ, it's based out of 7 points. 1 point, all you have to do is write a valid thesis. It just needs to be a historically accurate thesis. You get 1 point. You get another point if you describe. You don't even have to do anything. You just have to describe what's in 3 of the sources. You get another point. That's a 2 out of 7. The average score, I'm pretty sure in 2019 on the DBQ was a 2.7 or 2.9 out of 7. So you're already almost at the average just with that. If you have context, if you talk about, oh, at this point in time in the world, this was happening, and this affects my thesis because whatever. That's another point. You're already almost halfway there. And also what you need to know, remember that what I said about AP exams not being like, oh, if you get a 90%, you get a 5. It's like, it's just depends on the subject. Yeah, so you don't need to get, if you get a 4 out of 7 on the DBQ, you're set up for a 4 on the exam. If you get like a 6, you're set up to 6 or 7 out of 7 on the DBQ. 7 out of 7 is very hard, but 6 out of 7, you're basically set up to get a 5 if you don't mess up any other parts. So yeah, if you actually read the document, like if you read the rubric, you read the documentation, you read the curriculum. Don't read the curriculum, that'd be stupid. But if you know what's in the curriculum, what you actually need to know, then it's actually not so hard to do well on these exams. And this is now what I'm about to go into is probably useful for Bex. Bex said that he was master at Java, very master. So a lot of people don't realize that you can do something called self-study for AP exams, which means that you don't have to take the class to take the exam. And although at this point you've got until Wednesday to make this work, but for instance, APWH, the class, is very, 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 very hard. All my friends are dying, but I'm alive because I'm taking normal US history. But despite that, I will be taking the APWH exam because I know that the exam is not particularly difficult, but that the teacher and the class are very difficult. Which is that, and obviously there are pros and cons to this, which I'm about to go over. But you can self-study exams, and you have to talk with Dr. Lamar. I set up a meeting with him. I'd say at this point in time, you probably don't have enough time to set it up, unless you can set it up, pay in like before Wednesday. If you really want to do that, then you can. But basically there's that. So pros and cons, right? Downside is that you have to be very, very self-motivated because there's no teacher, there's no grades, there are no assignments. It's all about your own motivation pushing you to study and do things. Unless you're like Bex and you're just a master at Java, and then the whole exam is about Java. Just like the hardest thing on there is like recursions and then classes, just private and public classes. And I think something about iterative algorithms, something like that. It's just like it's pretty basic stuff if you're like Bex and you're a master at Java. But if you don't know it, if you're like an AP Psych, which is possible to self-study, you have to be very, very motivated, and you have to be able to get yourself to do it without the grades. And the second, probably the more major downside, is that this class will not show up on your transcript, which means that colleges will notice that, will say like, oh, they're not taking AP Comp Sci even though they want to be a Comp Sci major, right? That doesn't look so great. So it's not ideal, but if through your college app you're able to sort of cover the fact that you self-study an exam, that looks very, very good. Because taking a class and then taking an exam, that's actually not so much like effort, or like it doesn't show as much drive as there not being a class at your school, but you want to learn about that subject so badly that you self-study it and then you take the exam and you do well on the exam. That looks very, very, very good. And the second pro, I guess, would be that you don't have as much work. Like I'm in normal US history, and it's just like, it's so smooth. It's so amazing. It's so easy. And then all my friends at APWH are dying. Like it's just, the difference is so big. And it's something you should consider if you have a lot of stuff on your plate. How not to die. It's very easy. Don't take APWH. Yes, you're right. You're correct, Tony. Okay, generally speaking, if you want to self-study exams just to make it look like you're very motivated, the easiest ones are AP Psych, which is you just gotta read a lot. APES, which is AP Environmental Science, which is, it's a science, but it's not actually like a science. Like it's like AP Comp Sci Principles is also among the easiest to self-study and get a 5 on. AP HUG is also on the easier side because there's no DBQ or LEQ for AP HUG. And then AP Government and Politics is the 5th. Actually, I'm not sure these were ordered correctly, but AP Government and Politics tends to be one of the easier ones to self-study as well. Okay, Bex is asking, in AP World, what are the most important that I need to cover more than years? What you need to cover are main events, which is like, okay, let's say you were talking about China, right? In AP World, what you need to know about China, let's say, so College Board divides the curriculum, AP World, into different time periods. So let's say from 1200 to 1450, what was China doing? Okay, for the first, from 1200 to 1268, it was the Mongol dynasty. The Mongols were encouraging trade, encouraging peace, but they didn't suppress Chinese culture. They actually assimilated somewhat into it, but like it's just general stuff like that. And then after the Mongol dynasty, you didn't need to know the date, by the way. You just need to know the general time period. After the Mongol dynasty is the Ming dynasty. Did they change the years? I don't think they changed the years. I don't think they made changes to the exams. But yeah, you basically need to know general trends. I can also check, but I don't think they changed it. But you need to know from 1200 to 2000. You only have 800 years. And yeah. Good question, by the way. Keep the questions coming if you guys still have them. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Okay, another big thing is that this is not so much for freshmen, sophomores as it is junior, seniors, is that you need to look at the AP exam schedule to know when your AP exams are. Like, okay, so here's a link for the schedules if you guys haven't gone to it already. But it's very, very highly possible that if you're taking enough exams, you end up with multiple exams on the same day. Like, I did not plan ahead. I was not aware. And what ended up happening is that... actually, I'll just show you guys. This is going to be amazing. So, hold up. Let's see if you guys can see this. Can you guys see this? Hold up. What's happening? Hopefully you guys can see this. So here are the AP exams. Dates, right? So you got Japanese, Lang, GoPo on here. You've got your exams across 2 weeks. What are the dates? May 2nd to 13th. Okay? But if you notice, I'm taking AP Lang right here. I'm also taking AP Physics, which means I have 2 exams on the same day, 4 hours apart. In AP Lang, I'm going to write 3 essays in 2 hours, and I'm going to go over here and have to switch my brain into math mode. I'm going to have to do an insane amount of math. I'm going to go to bed, wake up the next day, switch from math and English into Spanish, and speak Spanish and understand Spanish. And then 4 hours, not including the time I have to take the test, I have to take AP Bio, which is a completely different mindset. This is not something you guys want to run into. You guys do not want to run into this. This is terrifying. You don't have any time to study for these two. For these two, I have AP Calc BC the day before too, so studying for these two is not as easy. And also AP US History. So I just have to study 5 different exams the weekend before, just because I did not plan ahead because of my schedule. That's not something you guys want. It's kind of scary. Okay. Back saying AP World Modern History, key takeaways, period 2. Oh, okay. Bex. So that's, if you see that, it says period 2. So they divide the years from 1200 to 2000 into 4 periods. Period 1 is from 1200 CE. It's like this is all in the current era. 1200 to 1450. Period 2 is from 1450 to 1750. Period 3 is from 1750 to 1900. And then period 4 is from 1900 to present. David's asking, would you have taken those APs knowing they're on the same date? I would have considered changing a lot more stuff. The thing is, I want to take AP Physics. Right now, AP Physics is fun. I want to take AP Bio because all my friends are in AP Bio and A-Lers is fun. AP Spanish is like, man, maybe I shouldn't have taken that. AP Lang is like, the teacher's amazing, the class is amazing, but I don't know if I want to write 3 essays in 2 hours and then go into physics mode. But I think I wouldn't change it, but I would be more cognizant of what I was doing. Also, I'm starting to, these are very, very good questions. Also, I just realized I'm doing some Inception level stuff. Hold up, let me switch back. So, yeah, I think this is something that, I don't think this should change what you do, but I think that it's important to take into account the fact that you can have multiple exams on the same day. So yeah, that's it for AP exams. The fact that you guys have so many questions is absolutely amazing. If you guys are just lurking right now, that's completely fine as well, but I encourage you guys to ask questions if you guys have them. Are there any last questions for APs before we move on into standardized testing? I'll give you guys maybe 15-20 seconds before I move on to the next part. Yes. It feels like online school all over again. I swear, everybody was sleeping during all the classes except for the ones that you had to stay awake in, which is AP Chem and English Honors. Everything else you would just sleep through. AP World was like, oh, here's this pair deck for the day. And then nothing happened. Hopefully this club doesn't become popular. I'm just throwing shade everywhere right now. You slept in Chem and Honors? Yeah. Okay, Tony, you're different, okay? Like, I need 8 hours. I don't live without 8 hours. 8 hours is like my lifeblood. Also, okay. Yeah, seems like there aren't any questions. More time to study other subjects. Yeah, online school was amazing, except it was super boring and hard to pay attention. Yeah, COVID emails are kinda, yeah, time for online school, boys. Alright, I'm gonna move on to the next part just for the VOD watchers because I feel bad that You guys can continue talking, I just get distracted, my bad. That's 100% my bad. You guys continue talking. It's amazing that you guys are talking. So moving on to standardized testing, we got SAT, PSAT, ACT. Some of you guys are signed up for the PSAT. I signed up too late. Oh, the stream is good. Thank you. I really appreciate it because this feels very, very scuffed. Thank you for all the questions, by the way, Bex. I like it. I love the participation. So I've got another table for y'all. I'm not sure how useful the first table was, but I think it's useful to have these tables because, shoot, am I doing this wrong? How do I do this? All right, I'm not gay, okay? Gay is, all right, just cleaning up. Being gay is not bad. Being gay is completely fine. It's just I'm not gay, okay? Okay, so yeah, there's a table. It basically just compares the three. Oh, man, I suck at this. I should probably compare. Show this on screen. All right, this is my table that I made. Okay, most popular out of all of these is the SAT, also administered by the College Board. So just for general information, SAT is a standardized test with a math section and a reading/writing section. Each section is scored on a scale from 200 to 800. The curving and the scores change from year to year, but that's generally how it works. And also the scores are cumulative, which means that perfect SAT, like, so if you get 800 on the math and 800 on the reading/writing, you get a 1600, and that's a perfect SAT score. And the worst you can get is a 400 because the least you can get in each category is 200. So there's 2 categories. A lot of people, I don't know, it seems like a lot of people are stressing about the SAT. What it feels like to me is that people are stressing about the fact that they don't know what's on the SAT, so they're buying these $20, $30 books, but yeah, so here's my experience. I have not taken the SAT, just full disclosure, I have not taken it, but I have taken practice exams on Khan Academy, which is directly connected with College Board. So Khan Academy SAT prep. I'm like 90% sure, like these are, it should say somewhere. Where does it say? I swear it says something about, yeah, it says right here, right? Yeah, so it says, these are real full-length tests from the actual College Board. And he actually works through the questions and all that stuff. Hopefully I don't need to show this anymore, but, switch back. Yeah, I'm going to go into, whatchamacallit? I'm going to go into test blind, test optional after this. I'm going to go into scorings first, but just in general, I would say that the math on the SAT is extremely easy, but that being said, I'm also, like, math is my strong suit. So, the math that is covered is all Algebra 1 and a very, very, very small amount of geometry, which is just the SOHCAHTOA, which is sine, cosine, tangent, and just some circle stuff. And it's really actually very, very easy. In my opinion. Okay, this is probably going to be clipped. But I would say that I took the practice SAT 3 times. 2 out of 3 times, I got perfect scores on the math. And the third time was just because you were supposed to use a calculator, and then I didn't use a calculator, so then I messed it up. So that was kind of dumb. But yeah, the math is relatively easy. The English section is usually the part that trips up more people. At least, it feels like it trips me a lot more. There's a reading section, which is like, oh, here's this article, read the text, answer questions about it. I say half the time, it's pretty obvious. But then the other half, you actually kind of gotta work through it. It's a little bit more difficult. And then there's a writing section within the writing section, which is that they give you a text, it's the same, but they underline a section and they ask you, oh, is this the most effective or is this the most grammatically correct way to say this? Or is there another way to say it? And in that case, which of the options is best? Oh, is it better to say this, or is it better to put a comma or a hyphen? So reviewing grammar rules, if grammar is not intuitive to you, is actually a little bit important. And yeah, that part sounds easy. It's actually pretty hard. I'm gonna be honest. It's actually it's a little bit difficult because they all sound like, oh, if I was talking to a friend, it's completely fine. But no, they're not asking if you're talking to a friend. They're asking if you're writing like some like scientific research journal. So it's actually a little bit difficult. Also, just in case this wasn't clear, SAT is all of SAT, ACT. It's all it's all multiple choice. I should probably drink some water. That's it on the SAT. I'm going to move on to the PSAT, which some of you guys may be taking. The P stands for preliminary, which just means that you should be taking it before the SAT. It's a little bit easier, But the main difference and benefit of the PSAT is that it is also what is called the NMSQT, which stands for National Merit Scholarships Qualifying Test, which means that the top scorers are eligible for scholarships. I think it's $180 million are available every year, and usually the scholarship that is given out is $2,500, which is pretty substantial. And I think you have to be in the 99th percentile, depending on how many people take it that year. You have to be like at least in the 95th, probably in the 98th, 99th percentile. You have to be, $2,500 is a lot, but it's pretty difficult to get the exam. And actually, people advise that you don't take the exam unless you very, very consistently score in at least the 95th percentile, because it's pretty difficult to get into that range that allows you to get that scholarship. And by the time I researched this, it turned out that the PSAT registration here has already been completely full. And then you got the ACT, which is like, so the difference between the ACT and the SAT is that the questions go, it feels like to me a lot faster, even though it's not much faster, but the questions tend to be a little bit easier, but it's generally, it's basically the same thing as SAT, but it's faster and a little bit easier. I personally am going to take the SAT. I think I'm planning to take it. I think I'm signing up for the November one or December one. But yeah, now I'm going to cover, what is this? Content in the test or basic algebra. Yeah, so the math content on the SAT, ACT is just all of basic algebra, so solving equations and then going from word problem to equations. It's just like, there's no there's no quadratics, I'm pretty sure. It's just basic like algebra stuff. And then you have to know, I think, sine, cosine, tangent, but not like anything crazy like unit circle. It's just like, oh, I've got a triangle. Find the sine of this angle. Oh, it's this over this. It's just like the basic geometry, basic sine, cosine, tangent. Yeah, so I'm going to go over studying SAT and stuff, and then we're going to go over the test-blind stuff, which Jason seemed interested in. So, to study for the exams, I would say the very best way to do this, generally speaking, for standardized tests, the best way to do this also works for AP exams, the best way to prepare is through taking practice tests. Khan Academy has college board practice tests, which I highly recommend you take. But in addition to that, you have your general testing, like multiple choice testing tips. Skip problems if you don't know how to do it. Do multiple run-throughs, so you go through, answer whatever you can, then you go back through and answer whatever you can, and then you just take your time on the hard ones. Make sure that you look at the time constantly, but not too often. It's just that general stuff. Process of elimination is pretty huge. It's all that good stuff. And I want to remind you guys that I have not taken the actual test. I have not taken the SAT. I have not taken the ACT. I've only been taking practice tests, which means that all of this is not experiential. Like for the AP exams, that was more that was more experiential. Like I've taken AP Chem and AP World. It's not that many, but there's some like experience behind those. Whereas this is all research and theoretical. So I want you guys to remember that, because I could be wrong with all of this. And then, other than that, for the writing section, you should, if grammar is not intuitive to you, then you should make sure to review that. And if reading is not your strong suit, I think just taking practice exams and reviewing vocab if that's too difficult. Vocab, there are a lot of Quizlets on vocab, so that shouldn't be too bad. And now we're getting into the big stuff, which is the optional test blindness stuff. If you know what college you're interested in going to, then you should just go to the college website and see what they're saying about that. This is a website to an image. This is a link to an image of UC policy, which I guess I need to show that screen too. But UCs, if you are a junior, actually wait, how does this work? If you are a junior or less, if you are a junior, freshman, sophomore, then they will be, UCs are completely test blind. And in that case, some of you guys are asking like, oh, why are you taking the SAT? I might be applying to other non-UCs, that's the only reason why I'm taking the SAT. I'm not taking the ACT because it's too fast for me. It's not like my type of test. And usually you want to go for whatever shows your strengths and not try to just do things because they're done. And yeah, by the way, just so that like you might see this current 10th and 11th graders and current 8th and 9th graders, this is a little bit outdated. I think the information is still completely correct, but like entering class just means the year you graduate, assuming that you're not taking a gap year. Like, so let's say I'm a junior, I'll be graduating in the year of 2023, and I'll be entering and also in the year of 2023. because I'm not taking a gap. I don't plan on taking a gap year, which means that I will be completely test blind. So if you are 100% planning to go to a UC, or if you're going to just community college other than that, then I recommend that you don't take. Oh, I didn't share the screen. I'm so dumb. Shoot, I've been trolling. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully you guys aren't confused still, but yeah, this is the picture for those of you who weren't there. Hold up, some other stuff going on right now. Hopefully you guys are just looking over the thingy. Zoom in a bit? My bad. Shoot. That's probably good enough, right? Seniors are test optional, which means that they're not going to require it. You guys might have heard of the, whatchamacallit, essay, SAT essay or ACT writing essay, SAT writing test. Those have been discontinued as of now. So yeah, hopefully you guys have seen everything now. Let's just go back to this. Okay, so the recommendations here. I would say that if you're going to a UC and you're 100% going to a UC, what happened? 2024 no admission. What does that mean? What's happening? Did I miss something? 2024. Wait, Bex. What do you mean by 24 no admission? I'm confused. Did I miss something? Alright, I'm gonna assume it's something huge. Okay, oh, the campus might use score for... Okay, yeah, so it says statewide eligibility for admissions guarantee. There is a policy within the UC, which is that if you are a California resident and you go to a community college, and I think it's above a 3.8, 3.9 GPA, if you maintain a 3.8 or 3.9 GPA, like, there's no weighted, obviously, because there's no weighted in college. But if you go to, let's say, Golden West College 2 years, and you go to, and you get a 3.8 or 3.9, whatever the GPA requirement is, if you get that or higher for the whole 2 years, you are automatically guaranteed entry into all the UCs except for UCLA and UC Berkeley, which is huge. Because it's very, very big, if you guys couldn't tell. I'm not actually sure if that's what it's talking about, though. I think it's something else. But that's actually huge. So, like, for the people, like, I don't know how else to word it, but you're basically getting 2 years of college a lot cheaper because you can do it at community college and get into it. I'm pretty sure that applies to every single. Oh wait, maybe it's OCC. Wait a second, because my mom did that. She went to OCC. How do you search this up? I guess I should screen share this. Let's see. Community college guaranteed. That's what you see. It looks like it's every single one. Looks like there's an application. Okay, it looks like there's only these. Whoops. I guess not. Wait, are these all of them? How many UCs are there? There are 10. There are 6 here. Okay, I guess 6 out of the 10. Oh, San Francisco is graduate school only. I forgot. So I guess that's the one that's losing. So it looks like every single school, regardless of every single community college, you can, if you maintain above a certain GPA average, then you get into those colleges. Apparently, that's actually kind of big. Yeah, that's basically all for standardized testing. You guys have questions? I'm not sure how this is going for the AP exams took us like 40 minutes. ACT took about 20 minutes. Yeah, it's like kind of OP. I might do that. I didn't realize it was every college. If I don't get into like my dream is probably Berkeley, getting into the MET program, or UCLA is probably epic too. I think Stanford is too big for me. I don't think I could get into Stanford. AP what? No, sorry. AP. I was thinking that this is a lot shorter. AP exams took 40 minutes. Sorry. I guess I was being kind of vague here. I said for the stream, we spent 40 minutes talking about AP exams, whereas we only took 20 minutes talking about standardized testing. I was just scared that I didn't go in depth enough. Sorry. Did you have questions about APs? Or you guys can still go back to APs if you guys want. We're starting to get closer to the end of my planned structure. Okay, I think there doesn't seem to be any questions about that. AP test time limit, it depends on the exam. You can search, like, you guys remember me searching up AP Psych? That also shows how long. It was like 100 minutes and then 50 minutes. So it's like 2 hours. Plus usually you get a 10 minute or, yeah, I think a 10 to 20 minute break between the MCQ to FRQ sections. But yeah. Okay, looks like there's no questions on standardized testing. I'm going to move on to... Oh, sorry. I have to drink water. I gotta stay hydrated. Yeah, AP World is way too long. Okay, Dillon Concurrent Enrollment. This is for... I guess if you're not an Ortega kid, it's just kind of hard to find out about this. But there's something called Dillon Concurrent... Actually, if you're not a Stacy kid. But yeah, so Dillon Concurrent Enrollment. This is probably the least known topic out of all three of the main topics today, just because it's usually not as accessible, so it's not as popular or well known. So, okay, let's start defining by what this means. Golden West College is partnered with the Huntington Beach Union High School District in a system where any high school student can take a college class at Golden West College as long as they have the prerequisites they need to take that class. So, like, obviously you can't just go in and take like Calculus 3 if you're in Algebra 1. So here's a link to the main page for Golden West College, like for dual enrollment. David has taken it. I've taken it. Jason's taken it. Tony's probably, I think Tony's gone, but actually Tony probably hasn't taken it. But yeah, dual enrollment. There's dual enrollment and there's concurrent enrollment. Dual enrollment is when a high school student takes college courses and they receive both high school credit and college credit for that course when they pass that course. Dual enrollment classes are not bad. I'm gonna get into how good they are. So dual enrollment is you take a college course, you pass, you get high school and college credit for that course. Concurrent enrollment is basically the same thing, except you only get college credit. You don't get high school credit for passing it. Yes, okay, I'm going to get into that next. So, I'm going to get into that in a bit. So, dual enrollment seems better than concurrent enrollment just because like you get college credit and you get high school credit in addition to the college credit. But the thing about concurrent enrollment is that you have access to all of the courses that you have prerequisites for, whereas dual enrollment there's like probably like a 15 or 20 course list where like there are certain classes that are not dual enrollment, which means that like you don't get high school credit just because they don't match up with the high school curriculum. Also, just like with APs, whether or not you get college credit for that course depends on which college you go to. Like if you take chemistry at Golden West College, you're not going to get credit for chemistry at Harvard for that. Like but if you go to like, let's say, I'm pretty sure this is how it works. I should probably look this up, but I think that if you take dual enrollment at like in California, it will transfer to any UC. I'll look that up right now. What do I do? Hold up. Community dual enrollment UC policy. Actually, wait, was I get C Golden West requirements? Sounds like. Ooh, that's a lot of words. I don't know if I can read that. I remember something about this. I think this is correct, actually. This is probably the better one. I don't think this is it either. I'll send these links in the chat in case you guys want to search these up. But yeah, I remember something about there being a policy where any community college course you take and any dual enrollment class you take or concurrent enrollment class, you get college credit at UC because it's a California it's like UCs are public schools of California and community colleges are public schools in California. So I think it's the same system, but I'm not 100% sure. If you're not going to UC, then you should, again, check your actual college that you plan on going to. But yeah, this is the biggest thing about this is that as opposed to AP exams, you do not have to pay for dual enrollment. You don't have to pay anything. And if you're doing concurrent enrollment, you may have to pay for books or materials. But either way, you're getting a huge discount. That's like, these classes are probably at least hundreds of dollars, if not almost in the $1,000 range. So this is like, these are completely free as long as you are a student at Marina High School or in the HBU HSD. All right, so I'd say that here are, like, I don't like giving recommendations, but I think if you have the time and the means to take dual enrollment classes, the ones that you should take are health and a visual performing art. Health is like a requirement to graduate from Marina, and also like it's just if you take health I think health is actually only a semester at Marina, but either way, actually maybe it's a year. I have no idea, but either way, taking health on like as dual enrollment tends to be easier, especially if it's online. Like I took it like during the first summer of COVID, and like it's just way easier to take health as a, like dual enrollment. And the second thing is that visual performing art. If you're like me and you just suck at art, taking your visual performing art, which UCs require and a lot of other schools want you to have, it's easier to take because there is a wider variety of classes. So like for art, I suck at art, but I'm decent at like history and essays. So I took history and appreciation of cinema. Where basically we had to watch movies, we had to analyze movies, we learned about cinema terminology and history, and it was just a history class, and you just have to memorize stuff. Do an Among Us Photoshop. Yeah. How about no? But man, I get sidetracked. What was I talking about? Shoot. Yeah, history and appreciation of cinema. So yeah, like that class is like a history class, except it gives you high school and college credit for a whole year of visual performing arts, which is very big for people who suck at art. And just so that people, here are the list of things you need to have in order to get to qualify for admissions to a UC college. And yeah, so I guess the natural, like we're getting close to the end now, but I guess the last thing we're going to talk about is that there's a question with, you already done with VAPA? Yeah, exactly. Like you're done, just because that one class, you don't need to take like ceramics like Tony. But yeah, so like the last question I guess people will have is that, why take APs if you can take dual enrollment and get the college credit anyway? And then, okay, I made another table for this just because it tends to be easier to do it. Where'd my mouse go? All right. So that's another table I made. I'm gonna show it on screen for the VOD watchers. All right. So the difference between AP classes and exams, I'm not gonna read this to you again because you guys are capable of reading, but you guys should consider these factors just because it feels like dual and concurrent enrollment are just like completely just better in every way, but there's actually a very big difference. Like given this table of stuff, I'm choosing to take AP exams as opposed to just taking just taking dual enrollment. Like this year, I don't plan on taking any dual enrollment until the summer, which I'm planning to take Calculus 3 because they don't have that here. But make sure you guys consider this. And again, if you guys are having trouble with this, I recommend that you talk to your guidance counselor. Hopefully you guys saw the emails earlier, but your counselors are your best friend when it comes to college stuff because their job is literally to help you with this. And like other than that, basically done for today. I went 12 minutes over apparently, but yeah, that's all I got for y'all. You guys have any questions? Anything you guys want to talk about, or like are you guys just good? I was like, I don't got anything else for y'all. I don't know if this was like useful or not, but that's all I've got for you guys. Beck's got knowledge. Thank you. That's good. Yeah, hopefully more people will be coming in the future. 10 out of 10. Wow. I was thinking more maybe a 4 out of 10, but I appreciate that. Have you had any hard dual enrollment classes? Okay, to be fair, I've taken 2. Oh wow, wait, you're gonna do an overlay for me? Do I have to pay for that? Aren't your fees pretty high? Like it's pretty steep, I remember from the Fly server. What is in VC? In voice chat for free? No way, no, I have to pay you for this. I can use. Oh, we don't have club funds. Never mind, we're poor. But yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, okay. I don't work, so I don't have money. I don't make money, but I'll make this up to you if you're willing to do this for us. I really appreciate your willingness to do this. I guess we can make an AP HUG stream, AP World stream for you, but man, she's doing it for free. Your work seems good too, based on what I saw on Fly. It looks solid. All right, seems like we're good for today. If I did said anything wrong, please let me know. I'm not the expert here. I'm just using like what I've researched. Don't forget to follow us on our socials. Remember that there will be a VOD for 14 days, after which it should be posted to our YouTube channel. Hope you guys have a great Friday. Hope you guys had a great first month of school, even though the rally today was kind of iffy, like kind of eh. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Make sure to follow us on our socials. We will have a stream in 1 month. Tentative date is November 5th, if I'm doing it. Yeah, yeah. Today's fall rally was so sad. They're like, what about? And it was just cheer, and nobody was just like, It was so sad. It was like literally pathetic, and it was, like nobody wanted to be there. It was so hot too. Like if it was in the gym, if there's AC, people would have like done something. But it was just like nobody wanted to be there. Everybody wanted to get out. And then like, oh wow, you have we just got raided apparently by Bex. I didn't realize that he had people watching. But yeah, like I remember, like I'm not sure if you guys were there for the second rally, but people got up to leave early because everybody thought it was over, and then they literally had to force everybody to sit back down. It was so sad. It was like everybody was just getting up. It's like, oh guys, we're not done yet, and everyone's like, oh, and then they sat back down. And then choir sings, except we can't hear them sing because marching band's too loud. It was just a train wreck. But yeah, that's all we've got for today. That's all we've got for you guys. Next stream should be next Friday. I think we're going to be doing it about college admissions unless you guys have something else. But yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for coming. Make sure to check us out on Instagram. Adios.